I'm good. I'm ready.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of All in the Delivery, episode number 38. Guys, I am half of All in the Delivery, the co-host, Dave, and join with me, as always, is the other half, my co-host, down in West by God, Virginia,
Fuck.
Luke. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, I'll tell you, them weeks off just go by too motherfucking quick. But it's been good. The anniversary vacation week was a good one. Got a lot of things done, and
Absolutely.
yeah, just one step closer. Hopefully by next weekend, the boat will be in the water, and we can. I
Set
mean, I,
sail.
Yeah, set sail the ocean blue or the Tigert River.
There you go. Nice. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, my week it was a long week for me. It felt long, but I have a story to tell. And this happened on
Uh-oh.
Friday, okay? So, um so what happened was I was delivering the Rogue weight equipment, right? The
Yes.
Rogue brands, everybody's been getting them the past year. So
Oh yeah.
I had 19 boxes of Rogue equipment for this one stop, okay? And so to paint a picture in you guys' heads as you're listening, it's a wraparound driveway, so I can go in one side and leave the other side. And and the house isn't right on the driveway; it's a little walk and then to the house, right? I got 19 boxes, and they're fucking heavy. We're talking 50-pound
Fuck.
dumbbells, 40-pound dumbbells, 30, 20, like 19 boxes. I'll fucking bench. I'll work, one of those weight benches.
It's literally boxes of weights.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
boxes of
Heavy,
weights. Yeah.
heavy, right?
Sucks.
Exactly.
Fuck.
So I, so I pull up in the wraparound driveway, and I'm going, and there's some people out in the garden, and these people just recently moved to this house. I noticed. Go fucking figure. So then I get out of the truck, and I'm like, "Hey, do any of you guys work?" I was like, "Hey, do any of you guys live here?" And they're like, "No, we're just the gardeners." I was like, "Ah, fuck it." So I started unloading the stuff. Listen, buddy, I ain't bringing this shit up to the house. I ain't bringing 19 boxes of your heavy ass weights up to your front door. I'm dropping these right on your property. That's it. Okay? All right? So I start unloading. I feel first thing I unload is the bench because that's the longest one. That's the biggest box. All right? So I
Right.
unload the bench. I'm starting to unload the weights. All right? And then the customer comes outside. and he goes, "Hey, buddy, if it's easier for you, you can back up and we can bring these around back." That's exactly what he said to me. You know what I said to him? And I feel like an asshole, but I said, "Nah, man, it's easy for me just to leave them right here."
See, that's
and
I
like, after I left, and after I said it, he was like, "Oh, okay," and like after I left, I thought about what I said, and I was like, "Oh, that was that was kind of a dick." I was just like, "Nah, buddy, it's easy for me to leave him right here, right outside the truck."
well, I mean, it's one of those things that it's like a shit delivery, and I hate to say, like
Yeah,
I was off last week, and there's some people I'd go above and beyond for absolutely because I am a team player to a fault. But depending on the kind of day, however it is, if if it's on the property, not really on the property, if it's within, it's just one of those things, man. Those I feel like it's hard to say because I used to think there's a lot of people that used to think really their delivery was the only one on the truck.
right.
I feel like that's gotten a lot better now,
Right.
but like there's just things too that you know, whatever kind of day you've had, whatever shit you've had to fight through, to have a delivery like that where it's 19 fucking boxes of weights and a
Yeah.
bench and
Yeah.
heavy shit like
Yeah.
that take that, whatever kind of day you're having, I mean, that can kill your will real fast.
Oh
And
yeah.
so people may not understand that part of it yet either. Well, maybe either, because I guess if you
No,
don't
they
do it,
don't. They
the
think
only
they're the only ones that matter in this world.
well, I mean, it's gotten better. It's
Some,
gotten better,
but
dude.
yeah,
It's gotten a lot better for sure. The appreciation level has definitely gone up
right,
over the years for
right.
sure.
But yeah, like I just felt like a dick after I said after I left. I was like, I was gonna have a dickhead move, David.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you fucking that's you can be blunt with your words sometimes. So I
Yeah,
mean, what can we say,
yeah,
bud?
and I
It's
mean, I didn't want to be there delivering them because he's doing. But here, buddy, you're gonna be the one lifting them for the next
yeah.
however fucking long. So
You
here they are,
must,
bud. Have fun moving them.
must start lifting them. Get fucking started.
Yeah. Dude, and let me tell you, right? After but it was funny, right? Cuz like so like he after I was unloading him and dropping him right outside the truck, he started bringing them around back as I'm doing that.
uh
And then about he got maybe 4 walks around back with 1 or 2 weights. He stopped and went inside and I was still unloading. Like I don't know if he thought like I was gonna join in and just like start bringing him around back for him too or something. Like after I told him no,
Dude,
like no, man, not
I
happening.
I got it fucking I this one I got a funny story with the heavy package about somebody this and this is one of those things to where I tried to help this guy because I knew the situation
Mhm.
and I don't think he really realized. So basically, I forget if this was a fucking it wasn't a bed mattress. I can't remember what it was, but it was fucking heavy. But it was something long like that.
Yeah,
So, because I remember I put it on the back of the truck to where I had it on my shoulder. What might have been I've been grasping opposite corners. Don't take me to a company jail here, but I had it. I had it to where I could squat up. And
yeah,
I had it because I wasn't in my prime, but 700 pounds back in the day, I could
yeah,
squat a
yeah, sure.
lot. I put that thing on my back and I'm just walking. And so this guy, the dad's out with his boy, and his son, I don't know how old he is. He's not very old, but he's old. He's old enough, to
Sure,
where he can question or say. I'd say he was probably like, call him like 6, and he's like, so I have this thing, and he says like his dad said something about it being heavy, and he was like, I forget. Basically, what I'm getting at is like the kid said something like he was going to take it, not the kid, but the dad. And I was like, no, I'm going. Then he said I could get it, and his kid was like, yeah, my dad can do it because when
oh
you're
no,
a kid, dude, you think your dad is the
yeah, your
strongest
dad's
man in the
fucking
world.
Superman. Yeah.
And this guy, I hate to fucking say it, I looked at him and I do. I was like, this fucking guy, this thing is heavy. And I'm like, oh, I know your daddy can do it. And I'm just keep walking. The guy's just insisting to take it. And I'm like,
Oh,
no, just let me set it down. And he was like, no, just like he's putting it out like for me to switch, like just to fucking throw it over myself. So I fucking pleaded one more time. And I was like, all right. And so I put it over, and the way he described it, just buried him. Fucking,
no,
I mean, and then I picked it up
he
off
just
of him. I picked it up off of
dropped
him. And
them.
what sucked is I had to drag it then because I had this thing lifted
Yeah.
high and got under it and squatted. I was like, fuck, it's on the ground now. And but yeah, that poor kid had to see his dad get. I mean, it was just it was just one of those situations. I was like, oh, I know he can, but I'll just do it. This guy's
Oh
like,
my
dude, I'm like, dude,
gosh.
just move. You're not gonna do this. But yeah,
Yeah, and
anyway.
like, dude, like, what sucked too about like my situation was, so all that shit was on the floor under the shelf. So after I was done,
Yeah, your back's
my
hurting.
fucking back tightened up and shit. So you know what I really could have used at that time? Some cardboard cologne, buddy. All right. And guys, let me tell you about the cardboard cologne. All right. One, here's reasons why. Okay. Guys, listen up. Do you work for a living? Okay. Do you expect that your job is going to grind your joints to dust? All right. Do you pop Advil and maybe a beer after work to deal with pain and soreness? Do you think big corporate would love for you to get injured and quit so they could replace you with someone younger and cheaper? Possibly. Well, guess what, guys? Now is not the time for that, okay? So listen up. Cardboard cologne. All right, access your own pain. Restore ranges of motion and condition your joints by learning to use a Swiss Army knife of mobility. The FRC morning routine. All right, that's what they call it. And guys, if you want to learn more, go to parcelsavage.com/courses where Fitzy can tell you all about the cardboard cologne. Was that good?
That was good.
Yes.
He's got the knowledge. That cardboard. The cardboard cologne is strong within this man. He's like Yoda, but just a tall. He's just tall. He's a tall version of Yoda.
I
Fitz,
thought that
that's
was
the
a nice
best.
little transition. That was
Oh, I like that. I
that was
like
good, right?
that.
Thank you, thank you,
That was very good.
thank you. But anyways, guys, so that was my fucking past week, and that was
Well,
Luke. Luke
let's
had
go
a
ahead.
good one.
Well, let's go ahead and say, because we're going to touch about this a little bit down the road, which we'll talk about maybe formats at the end. But for anybody that adopted Orion 3.0 on Monday, we
Mm,
hear it on the Delivery Podcast. Sincerely send our condolences to you, because boy, I just saw it shit in the bed all over the country, and I
yep,
mean, we've had it, so I think we were fine, but I was off work and I didn't want to find out.
yep.
Dave, I think you're the same way, right? You guys,
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
had
we
it,
were
right?
fine because we had it previously. But then when they rolled it out to the entire rest of the company now, I heard it just woo, a lot of
Shit the
issues.
bed. There was people getting getting printouts of
Oh
everything.
yeah,
I
writing off
mean,
paper.
to print it off paper, to mark tracking numbers the old
Hmm.
fashioned way. I mean, just a complete, it's just one of those things. I mean, this brings us closer together, I feel like.
That's it.
but, but yeah, you'll hear about that more later.
Totally, totally.
God dang.
So,
I,
anyways, we gotta listen. We
yeah.
got a few things to talk about here in the Get in the Big Picture segment. So, guys, guess what? This one is called Get in the Big Picture. Luke, take it away, buddy. buddy.
Picture this. The Kentucky Derby was this past weekend. The ringer, this guy, for some reason, you would think somebody that's been playing parlay since he was 3 years old.
Did you bet him?
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
actually didn't bet the Kentucky Derby, but and it wasn't 3 years old. It was 13, but the age kept getting less and less. So I figured I'd say three. For new listeners, that age is not, that's fake news. But so what's the guy? Is it Bob Bafferty? This guy is I don't know. He's a trainer, and he has been investigated, and he like is shady and schemy. But this motherfucker wins. I've never seen somebody win more Kentucky. Like I swear to God, every year I see when the Kentucky Derby winner, Bob Bafferty's just standing there and the fucking with the raises on this horse, and it's just like this dude has just got horse racing by the balls. And I could be wrong with other races, but for some reason I don't watch Preakness or fuck, I can't even think of the other one off the top of the Belmont Stakes.
yep.
I don't get into them as much as the Kentucky Derby, because I don't know if it's the first one of the big three, and it's kind of like right when spring, you're about to roll into summer, and it's close to me. It's in the neighboring state. It's not really, it's still a hell of a drive, but it's not, geographically it's not
Yeah.
far. But yeah, this fucking guy just, for anybody that watched it this weekend, you know who I'm talking about. The long white hair kind of looks like Ric Flair, or if you watch Eastbound and Down, looks
Woo!
like Ashley Schaefer. Uh, and just, yeah, the dude is a fucking, he's a ringer. I don't know what else to say. As somebody that's been in the betting world a long time, I'm just really impressed by this guy and just wanted to tip my hat to him. And, keep fucking, hey, if you keep getting investigated and it's only legal if you get caught, Bob, just keep winning, I guess.
And
Oh, damn.
picture this. So LeBron James had some issues recently. And Twitter did its thing, and so did OJ Simpson. And Luke, go ahead, buddy. Take it away. He's fucking cracking up over there. Why'd you mute yourself? Why'd you mute yourself?
I didn't even, sorry. I, I was laughing too hard. I thought,
Laughing too hard and pushing keys on his keyboard.
oh God, dude, it's the new setup. It's the new fucking setup, man. Oh no, but yes. So anyway, this not to make this is the thing. I wasn't wanting to make fun of this. So basically, it was a story I saw because LeBron and the police have kind of been going back and forth. And this police guy on TikTok made a TikTok making fun of LeBron, and now they're back and forth. That was the story that I'm reading.
Yeah.
That's not really what caught my eye. What caught my eye is this little side note is OJ Simpson is fucking got. They said OJ Simpson comes out to tweets something to say, and I see the real OJ 32, and I see this like fucking 2-minute video of OJ sitting there. He's on the golf course. I'm like, fuck whatever these writers are saying now. What the fuck does OJ got to say about this? I didn't matter what the fuck. That could have been the greatest written fucking story ever. As soon as I see OJ's got something to say, I'm like, okay, this has got to be good. So remember, folks, I know this has been a while. So let me give a refresher for OJ. I'm sure most of you know who OJ Simpson is, but one of the reasons he got found not guilty was they painted a picture of the LAPD being crooked and corrupt and out to set him up, and racism was involved with it. So but OJ in this video, he was just patting it. He was all he loved it. He was supporting the LAPD. It wasn't anything about that, but he's just talking about LeBron James picking his battles, and I'm just sitting there like mind fucked. I'm like, I'm like, because I'm not that, like, I was a kid when that trial went on, but I know the gist of it. I know what happened. I'm like, this is fucking OJ Simpson on here. How the fuck did OJ get on this story? One, and I was like, this is fucking OJ talking. One, like he's talking like, I was like, are the police going to look at OJ as a supporter? Because he's like, I'm like, are they going to be like, so what are we going to do? Like for a fucking FOP rally? Are we going to fucking have OJ Simpson be a speaker? Like, I'm so fucking, my mind's blown in so many ways because I was thinking of his trial, and I was like, Johnny Cochran is I hate to say Johnny Cochran was rolled in his fucking grave. But anyways, he said LeBron needs to pick his battles, and like, just, I don't know if he was meaning like not lose his like, I don't know. It's just fucking OJ.
It's
OJ.
OJ giving the advice.
Everybody
that is just
knows.
like, what?
Everybody knows that OJ did it. And here he is, just sitting there at the golf course talking about LeBron James, but what he should do, giving LeBron advice. Like, what the fuck is fucking OJ giving advice for? Oh Jesus! But he praised them. He praised them too. It wasn't all bad. He was giving, but it just was. It was weirding me out that it was OJ on this story, and I was like, of all people. And then I hope he gets in the news. That would make me watch the news again if fucking OJ becomes a reporter or an anchor. I will watch the news every fucking night. God damn.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, getting the big picture, Jesus.
And
It gets broader and broader.
so real quick for you guys too, just to follow up with the Instagram story that Luke has recently posted, if anybody caught it, and just switching things up a little bit more. Obviously, we got this now, the getting the big picture segment, all that good stuff. But next week's episode is gonna be just Luke and I. There's not gonna be a guest. We got some topics to talk about, some bullshit to talk about, some joking, some great laughs. And yeah, that's yeah,
No,
just
it's
look forward to it because we
yeah.
had a blast, and it was a nice change of pace too, just me and him.
It's gonna be it'll be just Dave and I, but we're gonna have other people eventually when we get this format going. Basically what this is because as I said, if you heard, the pandemic becoming less and less and everybody being able to live their life again.
Yeah.
This is a way to keep the content flowing and keep the fucking show going on. And I think you guys will enjoy it. It's like I said, it's a change of pace. It's not interview format, but it's still you'll still be hearing fuck a
Fuck.
lot.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
So.
just like that.
But anyways, guys, like we mentioned, did we even mention who our guest is today? Our
Yes, we
guest
did.
today is Gerrica Boschetto. Such an awesome person.
Absolutely.
And we had laughs. We had some emotional talks too. So guys, this one
Did.
Yeah, this one is full of a lot. So be
It's a good one.
prepared for the
It's a good one.
emotions, guys. Absolutely, it's a good one. So Luke, what do you say, bud?
Fuck.
You want to get into it?
Oh shit. No. No.
You don't. You don't want to get into it right now?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
I'm tired.
Luke's internet's all fucking cutting out right now. I don't even know if he even heard what I said. But guys, listen, here is the interview with Gerrica Boschetto. This episode is brought to you by our Patreon subscribers. That's right, you guys. With our patrons in our corner, we can reach our goals and continue delivering greatness. We would like to thank Tony, Fernando, Andrew, Nate, Max, Clement, Sam, and Ryan for your continued support. And guys, if you want to see what all the buzz is about, head to patreon.com/AITDpod. That's Patreon, patreon.com/AITDPOD to sign up today. So our guest today is joining us from Rock Springs, Wyoming. Guys, she's been with the company for 9 years and only driving for 8.5. A fun fact, her hub has more female drivers than male drivers. Hey, guys. She also has an obsession with plants, if you can't tell. Please welcome to the show, Gerrica Boschetto. Gerrica, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
That's his.
And you say only 8.5. I was like, well, I was thinking if it's 9 years, that's most of the time though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was preload from like March to like October.
Do you take? I'll give. I wasn't as bad as some. I've heard some that are really bad. I'll give you one guess. Just go ahead. Go ahead and take one guess. I'll give you one. See if you get it.
I don't even know.
5.5 years is what I put in preloading.
Wow.
But I didn't. Yeah, I know. I didn't really. And what was funny is I wasn't planning. I was literally just saying this before you got on. That when I got hired, because I'm actually approaching my 14th year pretty well, and it's still another. It'll be in June, so it's still another couple months away. But when I got hired, it was me and this other guy, and they asked us like, right then they were like, "How long do you plan on staying here?" And I was in school then, and I was like, "I'll be here a year."
Right.
And that guy was like, "I'm gonna be here till I retire." And they were like, "That's the right answer." I was like, "Shit, that was
Damn it.
good." Fuck, I didn't even think. But that guy quit. That guy quit in like a month. And like I said,
Oh.
14
Can't
years
handle it.
later, here I am. But
Oh.
I don't know if I could preload for 5.5 years.
Yeah. That's
well,
not
I was kind of a knucklehead. I partied a lot and did a lot of like I was just having a lot of fun, and I would work other jobs. Like I did like what was stupid. Like I would do things like I delivered appliances during the day, and I would be like, no, I'm not going to drive, but like I'll just preload, and then instead of doing boxes, I'll just just handle refrigerators and freezers and shit, and not
All the other heavy stuff.
yeah, right. I resisted for a while, but no, ultimately, I mean, you just kind of like I said, I was just having fun for a while, and then my wife and I started dating, and it wasn't really, it's like I settled down, and I was like, I need to make a move.
I got to get
And
my life together.
yeah, and so I don't mind it at all. I love it's a love-hate relationship, as you would probably agree.
Yep.
But I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Me either.
I enjoy it.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I could probably run a nursery. That'd be all right. But
Yeah, I mean,
nursery in Rock
there's a
Springs is a little
couple.
rough.
I'd be that professional poker player finally, but I just don't know if I'd be good enough to sustain it. But
Yeah.
I
I
never
don't know how to
had.
play poker.
It's better off. Don't learn.
Don't try. Don't start.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
Gerrica, take us back. Growing up, have you always lived in Wyoming?
I always have lived in Wyoming, born and raised in Rock Springs. I have 2 older sisters and a younger brother. My parents were married up until my dad passed away, really super close to my whole family. I mean, played softball for 8 years. Played a lot, as many sports as I could, but softball was really the one that stuck. And then
Sure.
just started, I don't know, just, worked some pretty crazy jobs. Worked at daycares, worked at a porn store.
Hold on. Did you
Worked
say
at
a porn
Sonic.
store?
Yeah. Yep. I was like 18.
You've
terrifying,
got to have
actually.
some stories from that. Like some of the
Yeah,
people
I
that come
mean,
in there.
Yeah, and like we weren't allowed to like leave the counter area, obviously, because there was a lot of girls that worked there as well. And some dude came in and was like dead set on trying to find the Jenna Jameson lube that came with the doll. And he's like, you need to come back here and help me find this. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like you could probably order it online.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was
Jesus
pretty sketchy.
No,
18-year-old just
and being where you're at, like we were just saying. So I mean, people, you see it. That's a wide stretch of area. So you were probably seeing people. There was people coming out of fucking
and the woodworks for sure. And like, I mean,
man.
with it being I-80 in an interstate like town, basically, roads get shut down. People are like, well, shit, I'm bored. I'm just gonna go down to this porn store. Like,
I used to deliver. When I still delivered up in Morgantown by WVU. I used to deliver to a bunch of there was a few porn shops, and they would just get. I mean, the cartridges of CO2 would be what a pain in the ass delivery that was. God.
And you know that they're sketchy because they're all COD too.
Yep.
They don't even.
Yep. They are
cartridges.
Like, oh, I don't have the money. Yeah.
Yeah, cartridges of CO2.
For what?
Oh, Dave.
I'm so gone on this one.
There's I mean, I could tell you there's the business side of it, and then there's the other side of it.
The
too.
real side, the whippets.
Yeah, whippets. You ever heard of whippets before?
No.
God dang, you were homeschooled. God, I'm just fucking incriminating myself here.
Can you just fucking tell me? Come on.
I mean, just basically, oh man, I'll say, Jesus, allegedly, you just put up, you fill up a balloon with the CO2 cartridge and people inhale those things. And that's what a whippet is.
I gotcha.
You can kind of do it with like the whipped cream cans too, like they did on Night at the Roxbury.
Yes, right. I gotcha.
But then, you know, whippets are also, so the story I had, and I think I had mentioned this maybe on RJ's episode. I don't know, but I had, there was one.
Isn't it nitrous?
What?
I said, isn't it nitrous?
I guess CO2.
Like no, like CO2 nitrous. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it is. I never actually did it either.
It was.
But people would come in and buy like boxes and boxes and boxes plus a balloon. You get a balloon for free.
Get a balloon for free.
You buy a box of cartridges and you get a free balloon.
Right.
Oh my God. But the story I had was there was a woman that used to get like a bunch of those CO2s, but she was literally making it because she made like with cakes and shit, because she had a site where she would sit down on fucking cakes, and dudes like, well, I won't say it was all dudes, maybe it was women too, that were paying to watch her sit on these fucking cakes. So she used to buy these, like she would go in there and get these CO2s. And I would be like, and of course, you know, I sat there, I was like, God dang, I was like, that's a lot of whippets. What do you do with all those?
Yeah,
things?
what do you do with that?
I didn't really point blank ask her that. I asked the girl that was working because I didn't know her. You know, I knew I wouldn't go up and ask a customer that, but she said that's what she does. And I was like, no shit. Wow, good for her.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen her been in there like a few times, and I was like, damn, every time I ever see her in there, she's just getting whippets out the ass. But that's what she was using.
That's all she does.
No, she wasn't using them for that bad way, for that wretched way.
Jesus. Yeah. Anyways. I don't know how we got.
I said,
sorry, that was my fault. I was like, wait a second, you worked where?
I just saw that on TV once. Anyways.
So Gerrica, back to you. What through all those jobs, all the different variety of jobs that you had, at what age did you start with the company?
I had just turned 24, I think. Yep, I just turned 24 because it's like my oldest sister is 4 years older than me. So she was 18 when I turned 15. So she hates driving more than anything in the world. So I would drive her to like high school parties because she was 18 and I was 15, so I could drive her. And I mean, I just loved to drive. And my dad was like, you got to find a job where you like drive for a living, like whether it be a semi, a limo, whatever. And happened to preload, and I was like, all right, like I guess I'll preload. And then that same year I became a driver. And I mean, it's been that way for everyone that I've seen be a driver. We don't have the 2-hour wait or 2-year wait. It's like 6 months you're a driver.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, I always heard at the neighboring center of ours that I don't know if it would be like as fast as 6 months, but that was the one because there's a lot of people there that are just there for the insurance side. You know, they do have other jobs. So I've always heard that. I don't know if that's still true or not, but that's awesome though. And that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's really cool. And like we don't have like, our center covers a town that's like 15 miles away. And then they cover the mines that are all, you know, like there'd be some extended routes that go like 250 miles a day. Then we have Pinedale, which is, I don't know, like an hour and a half away. And then we have like a big truck like a furniture van that shuttles up to them. And like we left on Friday, we didn't leave until 10:30. So they didn't leave their building until like 1:30.
Jeez.
250 miles, that's a hike. I think the most I've ever driven where I'm at is like 180. Not on the route I'm on now. The route I'm on now, I drive like 60, but yeah.
Yeah, I go for anywhere from like 32 to like 90.
So you have your own route?
Yep. Awesome. And actually the very first route that I bid on was the route that I did like preload, and then it was a qualifying route, and the girl that was on the route, she decided to quit, and that route went up for bid and no one wanted it. So I got to bid the route that I qualified on, and I just bid off it like a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I miss it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I do. I miss it. I like doing the bulk stops. Like I like that one was heavy. It had the hospital, the college, Walmart,
Sure.
some boot places, like mini malls.
Yep.
So it was hard, but it was also like you feel way more accomplished. And plus it had the pickup. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
I miss
Yeah.
covering. I still think one
Oh
day
God.
I do. I'd love it. I did love it, but I think it's just different now with everything. It's changed since I with cradles, and we don't even have I don't think our building, we don't have a center manager anymore. And I don't know who's replacing it. I think it's going to be from another. I think the job is it's going to be from somebody from another state. So I don't know how it would even work now. But
Right.
I used to enjoy it, and it's nice having your own route because you kind of even
know
if
what you're doing every day.
you know
That's
what you're
the
doing every
problem.
day.
I like asking if my route's in, and they're like yes or no, because I'm like, oh, I hate, like, I don't want to go out to the mines. Like, I don't want to go watch their safety videos, and you can't wear shorts, and you have to wear long sleeves, and you have to wear steel-toed shoes. Like, no thanks. No thanks.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that.
And like driving our trucks on the interstate in the winter are the worst.
Oh, brutal. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And they're cold, and
Yeah. Those things already suck enough as it is in the snow.
Right. They really do too.
And it's so funny because you have the customers that are like, oh, those things must be great or a lot of. And I was like, no, they're not. They're rear-wheel drive. They're fiberglass. They're light as fuck.
You'll have people say if they be like, well, my son's Subaru made it out this way.
Dude, I had a person tell me, yes, exactly.
I know,
well,
Subaru probably did, didn't it?
Yep.
How about he drives that Subaru back down the road and come gets your shit, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, people think just because it's big, it's what? It just gets traction and rolls.
Yeah, just gets it, yep.
Do you guys, I guess I'm probably going to ask this question to people from here on out that have snow. Do you guys have old school tire chains, or do you guys use the things that Dave has? Or do you use
we have old school chains, and
nice.
We have to put them on obviously ourselves.
Same here.
And 2 years ago, they one of the other centers, which is Evanston, it's an hour and a half away, another 100 miles, that our center manager runs also. The mechanic took the picture of my chains on my tires to show them that that's what the chains are supposed to look like when you put them on, because the dudes up there couldn't get the chains on. So
there has been some horror stories about and that's awesome and good for you for showing them how to put fucking chains on, because even though they can't say it, I know it's an extra sting, because I don't know if any of these guys are assholes, but if they are, I'm not going to have you call out their name obviously, but if they are, then they could be like, oh, they got a woman can put on chains, and here you go. If you're not even you're a man and you can't do it.
That's exactly what he was going for. It was like, oh, well, she's a girl and these chains are perfect. She doesn't even have bungees on. Whereas your guys' chains are all gapped and pretty much fall off when you drive down the road. So
the horror story I have with chains was when I was actually still covering, but this one guy, I was on this route for a while because this guy actually got into an accident on the job. He got hit head on by somebody that lost, the roads were bad, but it kind of lost traction on the end and swerved, just hit him head on. Didn't really mess him up too bad, but he had vertigo, so had to wait. And so I was doing his route, and then one day I happened to go, I'm on this other route, and I'm like, I wonder what's up. So the dude that was on that route is back, and I'm like, what are you doing here? I was like, are you good? And he said, no. I was like, well, he's in his Browns, and I'm like, what are they going to do? I'm thinking old school, football, when you had a concussion, they're just like, are you good? Wig. And then, so supervisor comes up. He's like, Joe's riding with me. This was obviously, cradles are still new, so I don't feel like I have to say before the cradles, but he's like, Joe, this is a route Jeep you couldn't really use a phone on because you didn't have a lot of service. said, so he's like, I'm driving, Joe's gonna ride with me. He said, got you on 8C today. I was like, all right. I look at 8C and it's fucked. And I was like, what the? So I'm like, what the hell happened? And the driver on it the day before couldn't put chains on, couldn't figure it out. And so, and this was like at the point where they were still kind of being hard. They used to get on us about EC, and now it's not as much, but so he couldn't
Really?
do
Oh,
it.
you have that? You see that?
But so he couldn't do it. So yeah, they just were like, okay, just pretty much he just EC'd that whole route and then just saved it up, and well, here I am. And so that, that's really about being a cover driver. So that is definitely a downfall, because they looked at that route, and like I guarantee you probably what happened was that supervisor was going to have, he was probably going to have somebody else ride with him on that route or something to put chains on, because they were probably hassling that driver, and I felt bad for him because I know that it's still tough. He was new at that
absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
But so I guarantee he looked at that route and was like, "Oh fuck no," because this other driver, he'd been off. No. He'd been off. He hadn't been working it. He hadn't been there in like a fucking month and a half, and just showed up for one day. And then the next day, I was back on that route. So yeah, that was a total jab. Jab. They were like, "We're throwing Luke on that route."
Jesus. And then you like pull out the chains and they're all rusted and like shitty and just in the covered trucks. Like that was one of my stipulations for changing routes, was that my truck, the one that I was used to driving every day, came with me, because I was like, this is my truck. I drive it well. I take care of it. I make sure to check the fluids. I write up the tires.
It makes a difference. It really does when you have your own truck too. I didn't understand that when I preloaded for all the years I did, because I didn't get it then. But now doing it, I know what you're saying. And that's a lot of things other with my route, because like now I'm thinking, because I'm off next week. And
who's gonna fuck up my truck?
Yeah, I was like thinking, who's gonna fuck up my truck? And then I was thinking of all my animals that I was like, I was like, I hope they're not going to be a bunch of assholes and not give them anything. I'm going to be
your treats. Yep.
Yeah. And then but yeah, stupid shit like that. But I'm definitely.
Yep. I got caught bringing in a box of treats, and they're like, Gerrica, like, nope. And like my sister-in-law is also a driver, my brother's wife, and she's like trying to carry in the box, and we're both just, like trying to hide them in our coats, and it's a 10-pound box of dog treats, and they're like, no,
go put them back. Do they not want you guys to have them?
No.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Really?
But I do it, and I do it anyway.
So when I was at driving school, they were against those as well, but I had not heard of any center saying, I don't know. But so what they like, if they see you with like a thing of milk bones, they would say, no, put them away.
Yeah, they told me to go put them back in my car. So
no shit.
Yeah, but I'm quite the rebel, and I just went and put them back in my truck after I was done. So
you just took the truck out to the parking lot, pulled it up alongside the car.
Pretty much,
you guys.
That's wild. That is,
oh, fine, I'll go put them back, and then I just, like, oh dang, I forgot my purse or something.
I mean, I don't want to say that I'm stunned, because I know that there was places that did it, so I'm not stunned about it. I just hadn't heard of anywhere yet. But see, now that at least I don't bring them up, but that, like I said, that old that page with the old company dogs page, which I have no problem. I have no problem against, but I've said before, I was like, they with the rules that we have, technically, I'm like, they don't ever get in trouble for
not at all
anything.
Well, I've given my actual, because I delivered to my boss's house, and I've seen them walking, and I've given his like dog a treat as they're out walking. I mean, I don't know.
He's like,
they're my favorite.
He's like, I'm not in the building. I guess I can just act like
I guess I can be fine. Away. Yeah. I get cats in my truck all the time too. I mean, you gotta start carrying cat treats too.
So you guys, I mentioned it on your little introduction there, is a female dominant hub.
Yep, we are.
That is pretty awesome.
It is really cool.
Do you know the ratio?
I think that there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the last time I counted, it was like 14 women to like 10 men.
Oh, so it's a smaller hub too.
It's tiny. Yeah. Yep. And all of our management, we only have 2 male managers, like supervisors, everybody throughout the day. The rest are women. And for a long time, our preload was also more women than men.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That really, I mean, I'd like that. I bet that I'm not going to say it. That's the only one, but you would think, because you always hear the term, male dominated industry. Like that's definitely rare.
And
That's
it's
awesome.
really cool because none of us, I mean, we're all pretty short and small and, girly. Like, we wear makeup when we go to work. And I mean, it's it was like my sister-in-law. So my brother's wife is a driver. And we're all friends, and we all, I mean, the dudes are just as like respectable. On one of the pages, they're like, ours is the female dominant center, and one of the male drivers would be like, yeah, and these girls were like work circles around you guys. I mean, they're not, we're not sissies by any means.
No, not at all.
So it's really cool.
I mean, I was just saying, we've always with the first guest, the original one we ever had on with Misty, and I mean, she goes in and preloads like 6 a.m. She unloads trucks and then goes and delivers throughout the day.
Yep, I adore her.
Like, oh yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah.
But like let's say, like she definitely kicks ass at because I'll sit there and I'm like, man, like 7 a.m. rolls around because I don't live far. Like we don't start till a little bit later, and I could probably wake up because we start at 8:20 on Mondays and 8:50.
Oh my
God,
the rest of the how week. Great would that?
Oh, the 8:20 part.
Yeah.
Oh, did she freeze up? I think we lost her.
Oh boy.
Did we?
I think so. For a second here, so probably take it off and put it back on. But I think that's what she was saying, though. Yeah, was how great it would be to start that early. I mean, we don't even start that early. Like the earliest we've started has been like 8:50.
Well,
like 8:50 seems to be like the earliest.
She's good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 8:50 is that's what we do the rest of the week. But yeah, we normally get out pretty. There's sometimes we may get out.
Dude, if we could start at like 7 a.m., I'd be like, let's fucking
be the best. Absolutely.
Yeah,
we don't leave till 9:30. Well, that's our start time is 9:30, and so we usually don't leave until like closer to 10.
Damn, that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah.
Damn.
Especially like DOT hours and shit, man. I mean, because you start working at 10 o'clock, or like if you're like inside building, or like whenever you leave, whatever it is. Shit. That's a long fucking day.
That's how Pinedale is, because I mean their start time I think is like 11:15 usually when Davey would be getting up there, and they deliver till midnight, and it's like it's rural, like driving out 10 miles out on a dirt road to a house, and it's pitch black. There's moose, there's deer, there's antelope, there's cows, there's
and
it's all wild.
You might have somebody
oh shit, that's so crazy.
You might have somebody that would come out with a rifle, I'm sure, because that would happen here.
Yeah.
I know that would happen here. That's happened here because that fun fact. So when this comes out, so my anniversary, my 5-year anniversary, will have happened, and on my rehearsal dinner.
That's right.
This is no shit. My rehearsal dinner. So I was on that route that I covered that route that dude that had vertigo. I was on his route, and the backstory behind that route was that was a route nobody didn't like. It was tough. It was everything was numbered different. Addresses were fucked up. It sucked.
Yeah.
And so I was the only one that pretty much knew it, other than the other dude, the normal guy, and the guy that used to cover it had a bid route then. He didn't want it anymore. So literally, if that guy was off, it was me. So he happened to be on vacation. I tried to get it off. I asked my boss, I was like, is there something I can do? I was like, well, I'm getting married. My rehearsal dinner's Friday.
Right.
I didn't have any sick days at that point because I was actually using them all for a vacation week for a honeymoon.
Right.
And he was cool about it. It was I was light, but anyway, about the rifle shit. So I'm moving. I mean, I'm flying. because obviously I'm like, I got family,
I got
friends,
shit to do.
the whole 9 yards. So I'm on these back roads just fucking roaring. So I go at this place and I know the area pretty well, but this is like a back road that I don't travel. Like they don't order much.
Right.
They're they're dug in pretty deep. And so I'm hearing gunshots anyway, but that's not here that's not a
Right.
big
It's not
deal.
right.
And like so I don't think about it. And when I get up there, this guy comes out and he's got a rifle. He's got like I don't know if it was an AR or whatever it was, but he had it and he walked over here. Like he didn't have it pointed at me, like pointed with both
It was just
hands
in the
like up,
general area.
but he had it like halfway up, like by his hip. And I was like, fucking hell. Like what kind? I was like, this is literally, I was like, what if I got shot? What if I get lit up literally the day before I'm supposed to get married? And he came out and he was like, where's the other guy at? And I was like, he's not here. I was like, is this 1609? He was just staring at me for like 5 seconds. He was like, yeah, just put it by the garage. And then he walked away. And I was like, fuck. I'll tell you, because I mean, some of them, I've always said there's a stereotype that comes with this place. I'm sure you probably have gotten the same or hear something too. So you know what I'm talking about. But I've always said, like, there's plenty of good people here. When people see the state for themselves, they love it. But I said, there are people, the stories you hear are true, and some people, and I've rolled up on one, and I was like, oh God, because I was like, I was nervous because I was like, this isn't somebody that's fucking around.
Yeah.
Yep, that's how it is here too. I mean, everyone, pretty much everyone has a gun, and they don't want you on their property, and they will absolutely take care of you if you're on their property and you're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, they like have horses and I mean just a bunch, bunch of chickens and just weird.
Well, I had something too, one of your recent posts, because I fucking loved it. The Wu-Tang shirt. Are you a big Wu-Tang fan?
Yeah, and my brother is too. And I just like it happened to grab. I thought it was just like my black undershirt, just just a regular black undershirt, and I like go to put it on. I was like, fuck, this is not a black undershirt. I'm like, this is my Wu-Tang shirt. So put it on and I'm like, well, you can't see it. So I just felt like it gave me like that little push throughout the day. Like, fuck yeah. Like you're being a bit of a rebel and you're wearing a Wu-Tang shirt. So.
Oh, what a good, like that gave me some nostalgia, because I used to like, I remember, so I was probably like in 7th grade and, maybe 7th or 8th grade. And I bought a Wu-Tang shirt. And my dad didn't know, like it just was the W, it was the symbol, right. But on the back it had all the names on the back. So I think I was like 13 or 12 or whatever. My dad's seeing like, you God, master killer, old dirty bastard, all that shit. And he's like, where are you getting this shirt? So he would make me wear it with like a flannel shirt over top. I could just have the logo showing. But yeah, he definitely I snuck that one by him because I don't know what we were there for. But yeah, I went to the fucking wow, I just really realized how ancient this is going to sound to some people. I went to, I think it was the Wall. It was a music shop.
Oh, I remember the Wall.
You remember the Wall?
Yeah, dude.
It was at the mall, the Wall. Yeah, the CD place. God, and they had, fuck. Think about that,
fun.
the Wall. Yeah, Jesus. What a lost art that is. That is gone. That is gone.
It's so sad that like stuff like that is gone though.
Yeah,
it is. What's that guy's name? Who was that dude that made Napster? You know his name, Dave?
No.
Boy, he fucking smashed that industry right up.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's not. We know. I know they're making money a different way now. They figured it out.
They're still making money by streams. But they figured it out.
I mean, still just not to like be able to go in and just look at and like touch things and like Hastings.
Yeah.
I hate like with books too. I got my wife a Kindle and she likes it, and I'm not much of a reader anyway, so it's like I feel like it'd sound hypocritical for me to say it. So I'm like, but I still feel like I'm like, God, I just hope like books don't ever completely go
Yep,
away.
I'd much rather have like an actual book. And I did get a Kindle for Christmas. I had Kindles, but my mom has them, so I got a Kindle for Christmas. And like, I was reading Stephen King's The Stand, and the actual book of The Stand is like 1,000 pages, so it's like this thick. So it was a little easier to like maintain reading it on my Kindle, but nothing beats an actual book.
Like I know they'll never completely
fully go away.
At least not in our lifetimes. They'll be around.
Right.
But people will have them for generations. They'll be collectibles and shit. But yeah, I mean, as far as
libraries and stuff, like
it's so weird to think about.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know so I was saying this morning when I went to see my aunt off because I was at my grandmother's, which I don't. If you've heard me talk about my grandmother, she's closing in on her 100th year.
Yes.
And we were talking about my great grandmother, her mom, and I told the story about the Titanic sinking, and then I had another. I could remember another thing she talked about. So I couldn't remember when I think it was Henry Ford invented the first car. I think it was Henry Ford. It was right. My great grandmother was born in 1904. So I thought about it like this, and I incorporated with this with cell phones. I said, it's weird how people get shit because when my grandmother was young, she said not a lot of people had cars. Like when she was growing up in high school, even like people were still traveling around by horse and buggy and shit. And like you saw some cars, but it wasn't. Yeah, and but some people started to have cars, and then little by little, that's what I could remember her telling us. Like it would see more and more, and I literally was like, "That's exactly what happened with fucking cell phones." I was like, because I could remember the one person, only one of my friends had one. I can remember he was the very first one, and then it just trickled on down. Now look at us all.
Yep. And my brother did the same thing, except for he didn't have a phone forever. And everyone would be like, well, where's Vinny? Like, we want to get a hold of Vinny. And like, he didn't want a cell phone. He didn't have a cell phone. He's like, save the bees. And then finally got a cell phone. And
I held out for a long time. I think
not me. I was like, give me a cell phone stat. I need to play Snake.
Snake. I know. Simpler times back when batteries you could charge a battery fully and it would last
for
you
once
4
a week.
days.
Yeah. Yep.
So let me ask you, Gerrica, when did the plants obsession start?
So I always have like had plants like around as I've grown up. Like my mom has these really, really, really beautiful plants, and they're called Hoya Hindu ropes, and she's got like, I don't know, probably 4 to 6 huge pots just that have hung in the window for my whole life. And so as we've moved and rented houses, we've always had a few plants. And then when I injured myself on the job in February of 2019, I was just like super bored, super depressed. Just I couldn't do anything, and there was nothing. I was uncomfortable. I couldn't go do anything comfortably. So I'd start walking around the garden centers at like Home Depot and Walmart and stuff. And I started buying plants, and then I like started researching about plants and reading about them because I had nothing else to do. And then it came on a lot harder, and I figured, you can order them online. And so the ones that you would want to find that you couldn't find in Rock Springs, especially. I mean, this is a freaking bird of paradise. These grow they don't grow in non-humid conditions. Yeah, in Wyoming. In Wyoming, you pretty much get like sagebrush and some succulents and some cacti because we're desert. But
yeah.
And so then it's just, I realized how therapeutic they actually are. And like seeing them grow and watering them, they're easy enough that if you forget about them, it's fine. But they give you some pretty like, all right, I made this grow, and it's 2% humidity outside, and these are an 80% humidity growing like crazy. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
And then like with COVID, it helps too. I mean,
sure.
everyone the market has blown up for houseplants.
Sure.
Especially since COVID. And so
that is true. Now that
pretty
you say
cool.
that, one of my good friends has always been obsessed with plants, but I've just noticed like I've noticed just on slightly on the feeds, like I've
and the
seen more
memes,
people.
yep.
Yeah, I've seen way more people with plants lately.
Yep. And it's, I mean, for the ones that are more rare and harder to find, it really like drives the price. I mean, people are literally truly spending like $2,000 on one plant.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you done that?
I have not spent $2,000. No. I mean, it's been a pretty penny on some rare ones, but I mean, you can look at it as an investment rather than just,
sure.
Like you buy it, you grow this, say you buy it for $400, you grow it, you can cut it up and sell it for $100 a piece, and you can make your money back in just 4 pieces of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned now you learned a lot about them when you were injured.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Well, I was stepping out of my truck, and it was middle of February, and slushy snow, and the stairs are metal, and I was wearing my boots, and the person coming back from the air shuttle was walking in front of me, and I was getting out to go start the car because it was literally like probably -14 that day.
Yeah.
And I was going to start my personal car, and both of my feet slipped out from under me, and I landed flat on my back on the stairs. Oof. And I was mostly embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, like, fuck, they just saw that. Like, how is he not dying of laughter right now? Took my breath away, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, that kind of hurt. And, I drove around, parked. And as I walked around the belt, like, woo, my back starts to hurt. And I'm like, maybe I just need to take one of these 4 pairs of leggings off, instead of 4 pairs of leggings under my work pants.
Yeah. And
then by the time I got around and got to my car, I was stuck in my car. So the manager had to call my boyfriend, and he flew there to come get me and ended up taking me to the emergency room, and I herniated my L4, L5. Oof. In my back. So, and that wasn't bad enough to like warrant surgery, because here they're like, oh, you're too young for surgery, just let it heal. So
how is it?
I sat around for 9 months. It still hurts, and it's created some neuropathy in my right foot. So a lot of numbness, and like the feeling of your foot being asleep, but like waking up, that tingly, like weird hurt feeling. That's what my right foot feels like pretty much constantly now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So we are not in a forgiving field on our
Nope. And that was always like that's why I was so down and out about it, is I was so pissed at myself, because I made sure to always use, like the proper lifting techniques and bending, and always like tried really hard to take care of my back. Like, I know that you need your whole body to be able to work this job, but your back especially. Yeah. And then I do something fucking stupid, like fall down the fucking stairs, and now suddenly my back is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of it. It's really frustrating.
I've fallen down stairs before too. It sucks.
Well, I fell down the stairs when I was like in 4th or 5th grade, and I broke my left arm, which is my dominant arm, and I literally tripped over a box that was on the porch and snapped my arm in half. So I don't really have good luck with stairs.
See, I don't know how.
Hold on, so stairs and boxes?
Stairs and boxes, yeah. And I was like, how ironic that now I step boxes on the porch.
Tripped over a box, and shit, you're delivering boxes, and you heard you
delivering boxes.
Talk about fate, time stamped life.
Yeah.
Like, what an omen. What a fucking omen.
And I mean, it like broke my arm like right here in 2 places. And then the neighbor drove me around to find my parents, because they were out at the golf course, and this was, before cell phones.
Yeah.
And so they found my parents, and my arm had set by that point. So they had to give me as much morphine as they legally could, and then re-break my arm. So that was,
God.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah, it was
So
pretty.
you said, too. You said it was like negative 14 degrees out. How fucking cold does it get where you deliver?
It gets. There's been days where it's been like negative 40, and it's been so cold that
Jesus.
the trucks inside the building that weren't plugged in, with their block heaters, they would gel up because obviously the diesel, so they'd have to just soak the fuck out of it with starter fluid and hopefully get the trucks running. Or if you're out on road and it starts to get too cold, they'll send you a message to not shut your trucks off because they'll gel up, and then the mechanic will have to come out and try to get you started. So yeah, it's like where your nose just freezes and your eyes are just like,
I
feel like they're gonna explode.
Like this thing to have a mustache.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine. It would be.
It is crazy. Shout out to Parcel Savage to Fitzy because he's got I've always said he's got the best. He's the Tom Selleck of the delivery people. But
and that would be 1000% frozen.
It was this past winter for us was the worst one we've had in a while. It wasn't really terrible, but we haven't had a bad winter for probably like 3 years. So we were due for one that was pretty. It was cold and it was icy and it was shitty, but it wasn't that level of cold.
Right.
But yeah, it was still like it froze up, and I was like, oh, this thing sucks. But I want to add on a side note that if I fell down steps now, I feel like I would turn to dust. I think it would be it because when I fell down the steps before, I did it twice, and that was at the very, very beginning. And I was like, when I started driving, I was 29, and I was like at the tail end. I feel like I was at the tail end of my prime still. But yeah, I feel like now I just would turn, and I'm not even that much older, but yeah, I think I would literally turn to dust.
Yeah, that was like it was 2 years ago. So it was 2019. And I mean, I was 31, and I'm super careful now. I'm like, make sure to grab onto everything with both hands if I can.
Jesus.
That's crazy. We didn't have a really bad winter. The interstate gets shut down. I think last year it was an average of like 57 times in the winter season that the interstate got shut down.
Is that just from ice?
And the wind. And there's just I-80 is super, super dangerous. Super dangerous. So we have like the sisters like going towards like Evanston, and then Elk Mountain. I mean, if you're ever bored, just look that up because there's been some gnarly like 80 car pileups, and rolling closures too, because if right by Elk Mountain, the wind literally is like 107 miles an hour, and these light trailers are trying to drive through and they can't get through. So they're,
damn.
I mean, every year there's about like the pileup that there was in Texas this year. Like that's pretty much what happens on I-80 at least once a year in Wyoming.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So nuts. That's why I would also never stay here and go into feeder, because our feeder isn't like everyone else's where it's, like
sunshine,
you have to drive
rainbow, and unicorns.
You have to drive either towards Elk Mountain or towards the sisters. And I'd rather just be able to EC stuff.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Fucking right. So let's move it forward here. Let's get into the question of the week. And you answered this one too. So real quick, guys, the question of the week was, who would you like to deliver to, dead or alive, and why? And let me tell you something. So when we posted this question, I was not expecting some of the answers that we got. I wasn't expecting it to be so personal. And when you see those, you're like, "Fuck!"
I kind of
you start getting emotional and shit.
I sort of was. Once I
were you?
Yeah.
Like I just thought like people would think like celebrity wise, I guess. So, you know what I mean? Or just like musicians and whoever.
Someone famous, right?
Exactly, just someone famous.
Yeah.
And that's where my mindset went when we posted this.
Right.
Yeah. And then some people posted some personal ones, and I was like, "Oh, damn it."
Yeah, mine definitely was personal.
It was. So if we want, we can start with yours.
Okay.
So and I'll read it here. Gerrica says, my dad. He told me from about 14 that I needed to find a job where I drive. And he passed away January 18, 2012. And her starting date at the company was March 28th, 2012. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And so my dad got diagnosed with neuroendocrine cancer in 2011 in July. And at that point, I just kind of like took over and made it so that my mom and him could enjoy spending whatever he had left. And I mean, it was stage 4. He had it in his lungs, his colon, his liver, and his spine. And being in Wyoming, you don't have much for medical care. I mean, we didn't have like a cancer center or anything at that time. So I drove him to Salt Lake, and I would drive him there. And I mean, he'd, make me back up parallel to some of the dumbest shit, like a leaf on the ground, like, oh, turn it this way, So and that was just like, those are the things that I enjoyed. And like, he taught me how to drive and would let us drive when we were younger. And if I could have him see like where I'm at today, and that like, because also when he got sick and he found out he was sick, he asked to please make sure that we took care of my mom, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she gave up everything she ever wanted to do to raise all of us.
Sure.
And he knew that he was no longer going to be able to. So, like getting that job, literally, like I take care of my mom and I get to do something that I truly love doing. I love driving. Like when I'd be upset or have a bad day, like go for a drive. So I wish that he could see that like I did find a job where driving is what I do.
He sees.
I hope so. And it's actually the route that my first route that I did qualify on, and my first route that I bid on, his business that he worked at was like one of the first 3 stops of the day. So if he would have been alive, I would have delivered to him.
Sure.
So it was pretty cool though.
That's cool.
I'm sorry that you lost him, but the part for me that I think that I can relate to the most. I lost my mom when I was young, so I was a kid. I was only 5.
I'm sorry.
I remember her, but it's different because I could get into that. We could, that's another but it's a different way of grieving because I was young. Like I remember her, but I didn't really make memories. It's just, but anyways, I just mentioned this about these journals that I had that my stepmom actually had given to me that my mother had wrote. And the part about, like you said, of your dad, because she had breast cancer. So she knew, when it was getting, and when one of the journals was when she was sick, and, my grandmother and my grandfather lived close to me. Her parents they lived far away. Well, not crazy far, but far enough. They weren't like right, you know what I mean? And so she'd asked them, in her journal she'd wrote, and she'd asked because she'd asked my grandma and my grandpa, to take to what, she knew, like she wrote it, and it was like I'm just comfort knowing that they're going to be, and it's like I like part of that. I like Dave said, I really do think that they do see. And even, that's always going to be the mystery that we'll never know for sure. But, at least that part that what he said.
The comfort in like knowing.
Yeah, that what he said about taking care of your mom, and knowing that you did. So, no matter what, that that you fulfilled. Knows. Yes, exactly.
I think that like helps bring just like a little bit of peace, like, to just, because I mean, like, there'd be days where it's really hard, and there still is. I mean, it's almost been 10 years since he passed, and it's still like, because my family is super, super close. I mean, my sister lives across the street from my mom. I go to my mom's every day. I talk to my sisters and my brother. Like I said, I literally work with my brother's wife. So like, we're all just very, very close. And like, there'd still be days where, you know, you're driving and you're just like, fuck, like I just really miss him. Or you think you just have something on your mind and either a song will come on, like, or you'll see something that you like, holy shit, like that is my dad. You know, it's really weird, but I wish he could have like seen it. You know what I mean? Like, because and it actually, January 18th is 1 week to the day after my birthday. So I had just turned 24. My birthday is January 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So January 11th was my birthday. And then he passed away the 18th. And then when I started working it, there'd be a lot of times where I'm like, fuck, man, I can't do this. Like, you know, covered in bruises and I'm exhausted and, you know, didn't have managers that liked me very much. So I was always, you know, shit on.
Yeah.
And like had a lot more to prove. So I really think, like, you know, that my dad does see it just in a different way, kind of helped to get me through it. But I would like him to see, like, you know, just want to roll up and listen to him laugh, you know, have him come out or something. But I think probably as a famous person, I would probably like to deliver to Marilyn Monroe also.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Any specific reason?
I've always just had like a thing for Marilyn Monroe since I was younger, and like I was Marilyn Monroe for Halloween in like high school, you know, and had to just use my own hair. Just
I was gonna say you got the hair for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just have always loved Marilyn Monroe, and I think that she was definitely overlooked. I don't think that she was as smart. She was a lot smarter than anyone ever gave her credit for.
I'll definitely agree with you there, because that was obviously just a different time too.
Yep.
And that was, I mean, yeah, we know that was
totally. And just like her being like such, you know, such a girl, and she really played the dumb blonde. But I mean, because there's majority, I think the most of the drivers at our center are actually blonde as well. So it's,
there you go.
You know, it's, you take a page out of Marilyn Monroe's book, like, oh, like, this is too heavy. Can you help? You gotta work smarter, not harder all the time. All right.
That's what they say. That's what they say. So to continue with the rest here, we got a couple more answers from it. This one here is from Art Gecko Studios. Past guest Jeffrey Chandler says, "I'd love nothing more than to deliver a case of Genesee cream ale to my grandfather." Is that how you pronounce it? Do you know, Luke?
Genesee?
Genesee?
Is it Genes something like that?
Yeah, Geenness.
Yeah, I think it's Genesee.
Genesee cream ale to my grandfather, and then I'd help him drink it.
Ooh.
He says.
I don't even know what that
is. Me neither. That's why I didn't know how to pronounce it. This one here is from Fitzy. Parcel Savage says, Selleck, as you just mentioned before, Luke, with his
and I said, if that ever happened right there, I bet Tom Selleck would be like, fuck, man, is this guy coming to ask me for a what is it, a DNA test?
DNA test.
Is this my son?
Is this my son? Another one here is from I think it's pronounced Chalaway 686, also known as Colby. Says John Hancock, so I could ask him for his John
Hancock. That's pretty rad.
Hey. Yeah, I like that. I like it.
Yeah. This one here is from the Roland Rogan. Says Sir Richard Branson, because he's an adventure-seeking entrepreneur and he lives on a private island. Why not?
Awesome too.
Why not?
Yeah. What about you guys? Who would you deliver to?
Fuck. I wasn't prepared to answer that.
Well, yeah, Dave's just so used to reading. I can go. I mean, to do mine, I don't know if I've had like, God, it would be so hard to narrow it down. To say somebody famous, it would be so hard not to want to. I mean, God, I don't know. It would be so hard to say like. Oh, I was thinking musicians. I mean, I've always said Jimi Hendrix was the greatest guitar player of all time. I would love to just be like, God, Jimmy, you were taken from us way too early, but your music's still fucking awesome. But I
Yeah.
mean, I can
Yeah.
say it about
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury too. There's so
Yeah.
many people. I don't know,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I'll just say for the sake of keeping it rolling for you, Dave, I'll say Jimi Hendrix. That's
Okay.
who I would like to see or deliver
Okay.
to.
I still don't have an answer for you. Like I feel like I have to think like deep about that one. Like, I
Right.
don't know. There's just so many.
There would be so
Cool.
many good choices. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly.
there would be so many good ones. So with that said, though, we can continue here. This one from Colby says, Dale Earnhardt would probably be at the top of the list. Big
Good old
NASCAR fan.
Dale. Good old Dale.
This one here is from Jay Hill, past guest, John Hilligas, says, my mom and dad, because I'd love to see the two of them again.
I hear you, brother.
Another one here is from Matthew Crowder, says, Chris Farley always wanted to deliver to a van down by the river. That's a good one.
That was a good one.
That's a clever one.
I love the Rolling Reagans. They had a response to that saying we could make that happen.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
I love that.
This one here is from Those Three Dudes podcast. Says, no one in particular, but I would love to deliver an adult signature package to an adult who actually carries their damn ID on them instead of waiting for them to go find it in their car. Guess I'm too nice. Been told I should just give them an info notice and tell them I'd be back tomorrow. Okay. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, right.
This one here is from PNW Ops Man, says Kurt Cobain. And then beg him not to kill himself. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm
can
not
see
saying
it,
you're not wrong.
I
I love Nirvana too, so I get it. I get it.
Oh yeah. See, like for like me, I mean, like I don't know. I'm trying to think of quite like an influence on my life growing up. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Could it be Jesus Christ?
Could it be Jesus Christ?
Could be Jesus Christ.
That's good. Imagine that.
I know. I figured I'd.
That's a solid answer, though.
Help you out, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, yo, can you throw me a bone, bud? Like,
Jesus could.
Well, what would Jesus order though? That is the question. Like, what would you be delivering to Jesus?
That might be.
I bet. Good question for something like
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I bet Joe Rogan's head's spinning right now. Or Joe
What
Rogan.
would Jesus order?
I know that's just caught his eye or his ears. I like that. What would
WWJO?
That's a good question.
Jesus Christ. What would Jesus order?
Wine and fish. And bread.
Yep, wine. The damn 21 or over, like.
Yes, sir. Are you 21?
Do you have your ID?
Yeah, your ID. Ma'am, I'm Jesus Christ. Like, what?
Yeah, we still ID over 30, all right, bud?
Oh my God.
Oh,
jeez. That's funny. We're gonna have to do something with that. Like that's like we're gonna have to put that out there for like a post. What would Jesus order? And just see what the responses would be. That's solid.
Yep.
Because I'm sure some people's brains would really go off and they'd be like, he'd order this.
Right. Like get real into it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Totally. Yeah. Totally could. You know, like
I mean, I don't know. He was a carpenter by trade. So I mean, would it be the stuff that you like deliver to like Home Depot, like flooring? Yeah. I mean
right? Fuck.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I got to get my head out of that one because that's a wormhole we could go into. But geez Louise.
Little tangent.
So, Gerrica, we ask all of our guests to give us a helper story. What's one of your...
How about most of the people that I've had be my helpers, most of the girls, are actually drivers now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
So I had my helper Amanda, and she was my helper, and she's been a driver for 4 years now. Mm-hmm. And then I had the next year I had Christina as my helper, which is my brother's wife, and she has been a driver for 2 years now. And then my helper, I guess even the one helper I had for 2 years went to driving school, and she went to qualify and then got disqualified because she didn't get her 30 in the 90. And then my helper, not this year, but the year before, also is a girl, and she also became a driver, and she's been driving for almost 2 years.
So are you telling me you're the reason why your hub's female dominant?
Female dominant, yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
It is. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean,
that is
I
awesome.
I really think it's because the mines and the oil field and like oil and gas in Wyoming, you know, like leave it to where the men and the women work there as well, but the men mostly go work there.
Sure.
So the jobs are open at, you know,
interesting.
stay-at-home moms just trying to go, you know, preload in the morning or whatever. And they're like, well, shit, this is like a workout. Like, I don't even have to go to the gym. And then they get offered like, hey, do you want to drive, you know? And they're like, they see that there's other girls that, you know, all shapes and sizes. Like, we're small. Sorry, my cat's.
That's
the
all
cat's
right.
really trying to get his face right up in here, and then the dog is like breathing in my face over here. But they
I was wondering where Mon's at. He's around here somewhere.
I think that they see that once a girl can do it, that it's a little bit easier and just more like the, you know, like girl power. Like, hey, you can do it. I can do it too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome with your helpers too. That's pretty awesome. Like, because that's got to be, that's another thing. Because that's a lot. I know there's been helpers that because I mean, I was a helper, but I've worked in the preload for a long time too. Like, I didn't start as a helper, but then that just, I mean, and then that's pretty much, you're pretty much like, you're like their Yoda.
Yep.
They're Yoda.
And I mean, it's really cool to be able to, you know, like, because you explain to them, you know, walk fast but don't run. You know, like the speed comes with, because most of them I think qualified on my route as well. So I would go help them and like drive them and stuff when they would go to qualify. But you know, like, it's to talk to them and tell them like, hey, you don't have to run, just, you know, take it easy. The speed comes with doing the repetition of the job. And I mean, they're all drivers and they all qualified, and like talk to them every day. I mean,
that's awesome.
It's pretty cool. And yeah, even one of the seasonal drivers, my brother-in-law was a seasonal driver, and I had a friend that was she worked at the sheriff's office, and she came and was a seasonal driver for one peak too. And except for she kind of got screwed. She got shoved in a U-Haul, and it was a mall route, and it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A mall route in a rental. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mostly have had girl helpers too. I mean, it's pretty weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
yeah.
Luke, do you have anything else for our guest?
Other than like usual, we Gerrica, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for
I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you for sharing your story. And I do. It's been good. It's been fun. So yeah.
It has been so much fun. We'll have to get a majority of the girls together and try to do it again with like different girls, because I mean, there's, you know, Christina, Amanda, Danielle, Shanae, like.
Well, absolutely. You tell them about us and tell them to come follow us.
I absolutely have.
Good deal.
And we will definitely try to get more of them on, because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, and last but not least, let me ask you, Gerrica, do you have any questions for us?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. If you ever come up with them, you know where to find us. So.
Well, I already did ask you, like, where's your plants in your background? Where neither of you guys have plants.
No, I got a cluttered basement, and all I try to do is this sticker is shout out to Christy Strong. This is it.
Love it.
They're the fuck cancer sticker, and that
was love it.
That yeah. I mean, I eventually, like, I'm going to end up switching to a spare room in my upstairs, because it's a fucking disaster down here. I had a storage unit for a long time, and a big one. And when I moved in here, it was like, all right, permanent residence, or at least, like not like renting residence. Like I'm gonna be here a long ass time. I gotta empty it out, and it is just
well, I mean, you could put a plant in there, and it would. I mean, it'd be fine.
It needs it. It needs it. It's grim down here.
You know what? You know what's so funny though is that the first time you mentioned that to me, I think I was on a live, and the next day I was like, I said to my wife, I was like, somebody in the live told me I needed a plant in the background.
You do.
I know. I was like, I don't have any down here.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't keep them alive. Like I can keep a kid alive and a dog just fine, but for some reason I can't keep a plant.
There's a few that you don't even need the light. You know what I mean? Like
the succulents.
That's what I need down here.
Succulents need a majority of light, but you can get like a pothos or like a ZZ plant. Like I don't know. There's one up there. There's a few up there that you could have just no problem, no light, just regular. Even just the light from your.
My basement gets no light.
Yeah, there's plants that would grow in just like fluorescent light. Don't worry, I'll send you some information.
There you go. You got to hook me up. So, but Gerrica, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Don't go anywhere when we say goodbye. We want to say goodbye all fair, so hang around.
Okay.
So, guys, thank you for joining us, and also, you guys know. Whatever you're doing out there, continue delivering greatness and remember your most important stop, all right? So we'll see you guys next week.
Later, everybody.
Peace.